I'm Rob Roy from Flybuyer.com, and this is a Kodiak 100. Originally purpose-built and designed as a backcountry machine, but in this case, it's also flown as an aerial firefighting asset. So I had two main questions I wanted to ask when I came out to film this airplane for the first time. One, why did Bridger Aerospace pick it? What are its uses? What are its features that can be beneficial in the backcountry space, especially as it pertains to aerial firefighting? And two, who is Wyatt Evans? Powering this massive four-bladed prop is a Pratt & Whitney PT6A34 engine. It produces 750 horsepower and gives you a cruise speed of 173 knots. Not too shabby for a fixed-wing backcountry STOL aircraft. Some of the fun facts to rattle off is it has a fuel endurance of up to 6 hours. It's certified for daytime and nighttime operations, as well as VFR and IFR, and flying into known icing. Okay, so two big things come to mind with a plane like this, a Kodiak 100, or any Kodiak really for that matter. One is STOL, the STOL capabilities, STOL meaning short takeoff and landing, and two being cargo. And a lot of times they go hand in hand, right? You want to bring a lot of supplies in to the backcountry. A lot of times it's on an unimproved airstrip, so therefore you need short takeoff and landing capabilities. So this airplane in particular, we've got huge cargo areas, as you can see behind me, and also really big tires and wheels. Now, I flew C-2 Greyhounds in the Navy, nicknamed the COD for Carrier Onboard Delivery. We had massive wheels and tires. I mean, a lot of naval airplanes do, Hornets, E2s, C2s, etc. This is one of the few airplanes that I found in the civilian world that has very similar characteristics. The tires on this are pretty beefy and the struts are huge. Take a look at this. All right, so look at how big this strut is. I mean, here's my forearm across there. That's every bit of that. That's at least 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet wide. And the tires are massive. They easily go up to my kneecap. So pretty big tires considering, but again, it makes sense. This airplane is designed to be a backcountry machine. Okay, so one of the unique things with this airplane too, I was talking to one of the pilots earlier, is that it basically has, in his opinion, 3 wings. So obviously you've got the main wing that goes outside of the airplane, but the angle of attack is much different on the inboard side of the wing than it is on the outboard. You can see this section right here. So basically, the inside of the wing stalls first before the outside does. Along with that, is that you have extremely massive flaps. I mean, this flap has got to be every bit of 12 feet, something to that effect. A lot of times flaps will come just to where the strut is on the inside right here. So this flap is double the length of what a flap usually is. I've been told that if you're stalling out of the sky, you have tremendous authority with the ailerons, even while you're in that stall. So you can see just how big, one, the strut is, but two, the flaps come out past the strut, and then if the inside of the wing stalls first, you still have this aileron authority in the outside of the wing. So another really unique feature with this Kodiak is the very obvious and in-your-face cargo pod. What this allows you to do is bring up to 750 additional pounds of supplies and gear, basically whatever you can fit into 67 cubic feet under the belly of the airplane. Now, I've never personally flown a Kodiak, but I've been told by pilots that have that it does not diminish the flying characteristics or the STOL capabilities in any capacity. Okay, so going into the cockpit, pretty obvious. They make it nice and idiot-proof to open, push handle, and turn. So you pull this out, open up, door. There you go. See how far over this door swings open. I'm not sure if this bungee cord is included in the purchase of your Kodiak, but there you go. Basically like its own version of a suicide door with a car, so nice and wide. Okay, climbing into the pilot's seat, come across like this. Sweet. Now this airplane, as it sits, this moment in time is actually waiting to be flown on a mission. So I'm trying to get this video in before they go flying to do some air tech stuff. But now, sitting in the pilot's seat, got a harness system for seat belts, which come over just like this. Okay, once you're inside the cockpit here, you've got a nice little window, which is actually really awesome for getting the outside air in. Looks like it's not on the right side of the plane though, so just on the pilot side. Here are the cup holders, very important when we're reviewing aircraft. Got to know where the cup holders are. You've got your elevator trim for nose up and nose down. You got your main power lever for max. You can go all the way back into feather in the back here. You also have the prop RPM in blue, followed by the condition lever. Looks like this little red guy is the max emergency power. I can imagine what that's for. One thing that I'm noticing from sitting in the cockpit for the first time is that it's got a really nice balance of glass and actual buttons that you can push. I personally like that. I mean, I'm all for touchscreen, the latest avionics and G3000, this and that. But this, for being a utilitarian type of aircraft, this is a really nice blend of the two. So for instance, we don't have a full 6-pack in the cockpit. I just see 3 of the 6. We have an altimeter, an attitude indicator, as well as an airspeed indicator. But you've got 3 G1000s in the middle here, and you can mirror the screens if need be. But serving as a PFD and an MFD for the pilot and the co-pilot, or just one of the system operators in the right seat, or just a passenger who wants to fly along, this is a really nice setup. I feel very much in control of this airplane. It feels very well built. I've got plenty of headroom above me. A little cramped on the left side over here, but not so much. And I've got an armrest on the right side. I've got really good visibility up and over the dash. I can see, I mean, the engine cowling is a little bit high, but not so much to affect my visibility when it comes to flying. Another thing I wanted to point out too is I really like the yoke. It's got a nice beefy feeling to it. I like the leather wrapping on the yoke as well. Nice little Quest Aircraft Company logo on the front. This feels like a plane that I live in Montana, so if I wanted to buy an airplane to have the ultimate STOL machine, let's say hopping between here and Alaska, this would be it. This plane ballpark is about $2.5 million, thereabouts, and you're gonna pay for the tune of $80,000 to $100,000+ a year in maintenance costs, hangar fees, insurance, etc. But if you have a lot of friends that you need to take places, or if you own a business and you need a plane to transport people to a rough part of the world, and by rough I mean terrain-wise and lack of runway development, this plane is unmatched. It's unbelievable. Another thing to keep in mind with Kodiak in general is you see the cargo nets at the very back there. There are mounting points on the bulkheads on the starboard side and on the port side as well that allows you to slide that cargo net forward. So if you wanted to, you could have 2 people in the front, single pilot operations, so 1 pilot on the left, a passenger on the right, and then literally just full cargo in the back. Again, that's a huge advantage to this airplane being a STOL capable aircraft and being able to bring a lot of cargo into places that don't really have a good runway setup. Obviously this thing looks pretty beefy, it is pretty beefy, it's designed with STOL in mind, but once you get inside, there are not a lot of soft touch finishes on here like you would find in a car. This is very utilitarian. There are parts that are metal, hard plastic. The whole point of that is that so that this plane can basically be a workhorse, quite literally. Think of this as the Jeep of the skies. The beauty in a plane like this comes from its utility and its capability, not from the mahogany finishes that exist on the inside, in this case that don't exist. Because this is a high wing aircraft, I have tremendous visibility down below the airplane, which obviously in this case for Bridger Aerospace makes a lot of sense because you're looking down at the fire. When they're flying air attack missions, a lot of times they're only about 2,500 feet above ground level. So you might get up into the 20,000s with oxygen to fly to your destination, but once they're on scene doing the air attack mission, then the visibility on this airplane is unmatched. Now, if I want to walk around to the back side and open up the cargo door in the back, again, pretty straightforward. Push this guy, pull open, and then again to open lower door handle on the inside, which there you go. Now that is something special. That is a huge opening for a relatively small airplane, front to back. Oh, something's happening. But you can see what I mean. I mean, you've got 2 big doors that are only, what, 6 feet apart from each other? And the amount of capacity and opening there to get in supplies is extraordinary. Let's pull the steps down right here. Nice and easy. Just walk right up, make sure not to smoke, and there you go. Now we are inside the plane. Awesome. So we've got a cargo net that's bolted into the floor right here, as you can see. But if I need anything in front of that area, we've got the capability to move the seats either forward or remove them entirely. We've got a track system on the floor right here, so that gives you a good opportunity to utilize this cargo door as appropriate for all kinds of supplies that you might need to bring in and out of the airplane. Another really cool feature about this door is its ability to come down all the way. I'll show you what I mean. You see how these cables attach from the door to the inside of the airframe right here? So if you actually pick this up, go out, try and be careful with it, come over on this side, pick this up and go out, make sure it doesn't hit the ground. And if I fold the steps up like this, now you have this tremendous capability to stand right next to the airplane. So why would that be important? That would be if you are bringing in some heavy supplies and you need to actually get up right next to the door to load them inside the airplane. Huge. It's the little things you don't think about. This is why I say this is the Jeep of the skies, because you can't take your roof off, but you can take your door almost off and all the way down to the floor. The seats move around. It's a pretty cool feature. Okay, so now I'm sitting, and I guess what would be considered the second row. Got a reading light with a button and AC. This airplane does have air conditioning as well. The Unit 4 is located in the back, but they've got ceiling vents, which is really nice. I talked about the ability for the cargo nets to go in different places throughout the cabin. One of those such places is right here. Now they've got this particular device here on the side, but right here you can see what those, it says secure cargo in accordance with aircraft flight manual. So you can see what those inserts look like. And also got one up top here as well. But overall, these seats are actually pretty comfortable. No armrest on the left or the right. A couple of cargo pockets, mesh pockets at the door. Floor is just carpet material. Again, word of the day is utility, and this plane is all about it. They've only got 4 seats in here, but you could have 2 in the front, 2 in the second row, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth row, providing pretty good ample visibility here if need be. We haven't even talked about the fact that you can put floats on this guy. If you have about a half a day to dedicate to it and some sort of lift, you can lift this airplane off the ground, take off the tires and wheels, and put on amphibious floats on this airplane. So now this airplane just went to a whole nother level as far as capability. Okay, something else to keep in mind with this type of airplane, especially when we talk about STOL and cargo. A lot of times these aircraft have what's called a tail stand, literally a metal rod between the tail and the ground, keeping the tail from touching the bottom. What I mean is when the plane is empty and you're loading cargo into the back and there is no one sitting inside, that center of gravity has a tendency to just go right to the back. So if you were to load heavy cargo in the back, what happens is if you don't have the stand, if it's overloaded with weight, this tail will sink down and could hit the bottom of the ground. And now it's time to give this Kodiak 100 a FlyBuy score. This utility turboprop is a rugged, multi-role aircraft with exceptional backcountry capability, STOL performance, and intuitive cockpit design. With a perfect mission score, it thrives in remote logistics and off-grid operations, while its performance reflects its ability to handle tough environments. Though not the fastest or longest range aircraft, its high-wing design and Garmin G1000 avionics provide great visibility and modern touches. For Bridger Aerospace, this Kodiak 100 is an invaluable asset for aerial firefighting, where reliability and accessibility matter most. Also, after some digging, I discovered the story behind the name on the front of this plane. In 2022, a couple won an auction at a Bridger Aerospace event, giving them the opportunity to name a Kodiak. They chose to honor their late son, Wyatt Evans, by placing his name on this aircraft. Wyatt was an extraordinary young man from Bozeman, Montana, known for his passion for fixing things, helping others, and bringing joy to those around him. Wyatt unexpectedly passed away in 2021 at just 17 years old due to a heart condition. But his legacy of kindness, hard work, and adventure lives on over the mountains of Montana. Well, that's all I have to say about this amazing Kodiak 100 from Bridger Aerospace. Until next time, I'm Rob Roy from Flybuyer.com, and I'm out of here. See ya!